All right. Hi, everyone. Glad you could make it out. We're joined today with Matt from Dynamic. We'll be going over wallet integrations, dynamic authentication, and a few other topics. And then at the end, we'll probably wrap it up with some Q&A if anybody has any questions. But I'm going to go ahead, hand it over to you, Matt, if you want to cue your stream up or your screen up, or if you want to go ahead and just do a quick intro for yourself.
Yeah, no stress. We'll do both. All in one. This is me. I'm speaking to you from Poland. Nice to meet you virtually, either here or on the recording. I run DevRel and Dev Experience at Dynamic, and previously was at Algolia, the search engine, and before that, e-commerce APIs, and before that, Twilio, the comms API. So it's been a real privilege to move to Web3 and also absolutely beautifully exhausting. I wake up every day surprised at how much faster it's moving than the day before. It's amazing. It's amazing. I'm really grateful to be here. So thank you everyone for helping me be here and participate. Look, we run onboarding, authentication, wallet interactions, information capture, and beyond for some of the biggest companies out there in Web3, and not just Web3, but Web2 as well. If you ever visited Magic Eden, any of the other, like, let's say, Story Protocol, you're going to have discovered Dynamic. In fact, if you visit our own docs in Say, then you're going to discover Dynamic. If you are in the Say app, you are also going to discover Dynamic. So anytime you need to connect to a wallet or embed a user and give them a wallet, it's the go-to. We'll discover very quickly how to do various onboarding strategies, starting with the default. How quickly can you just get login into your app? How quickly can you get a user onboarded? And then what can you do to make it easier for them? So we'll cover things like sponsoring transactions and ways of doing on-ramps, off-ramps, that kind of thing, and how you can use the widget, as well as configuring the dashboard. So this is the demo of Dynamic. It's pretty easy to see and configure, and then you can reflect it in the dashboard. But I just want to show you a few things, right? As far as authentication go, there are many different ways a user can connect. And I want you to know that you can configure those according to what user is coming to you. So for example, you can override this at runtime of your application and say, if my user is coming from somewhere I know to be Web3, let's say they're coming from Farcaster, right? You could potentially not bother with this and go straight for the wallet connection. Pretty solid chance that they're going to have one. Or you could do two, of course. Or indeed, let's, you know what, do this. Sorry, there's plenty of design configurations you can do. So you can pick and choose these depending on what it is you want to do. Now, when it comes to Magic Eden, this goes multi-chain. So as far as choosing login options, you also have chain options. So we're going to deal primarily with Say today, but I want you just to bear in mind, you can split things up in any way you see fit. So as far as Say, right, we have EVM and we have the Cosmos chain. You can split those wallets up into log in with your EVM one, log in with your Cosmos one, or log in with Jewel one, whatever it is. It's completely up to you, and you can do this in a few lines of code. So the point of all this, as you know, as a developer, is to give you something which is usable enough to get going very, very quickly, because the headaches of all of the edge cases in auth, like managing wallet connections, multiple wallet connections, email, sign in, all of that jazz, including phone number and stuff. Believe me when I say it's a pain. I'm glad to do it and glad to be here to help you. It is a pain, and it's worth solving very well. So there's a lot of edge cases that you don't want to handle yourself. At the same time, as a developer, you also know that the flip side of the coin is flexibility. We've all thrown away solutions because they weren't flexible enough. They were out of the box, plug and play, great job. The second you try to do something you want, it breaks. And so that should not be the case here, ever. And it's my job to make sure that isn't. So if you find anything in the documentation or in this product which isn't flexible enough, just let me know, all right? So let's go. You have a dynamic account. You want to embed auth into your Say app. Where do you start? First thing you're going to do is toggle on some methods of login. So here I've turned on email, and I've turned on wallet login, I've turned on the ability to add multiple wallet connections. That one's pretty neat. Then in social, just turn on Google. If you're in Sandbox, we'll give you credentials for all of these, like this. If you're going to live, you'll need to create apps for each of them, but there's instructions in the documentation, so just bear that in mind. For now, let's stick with Google. And here, we can do info capture. So if you want to ask for some user information, either up front or later on, this is a great place to do it. You can also create a new field, a checkbox, a drop-down, an input. So it's a very good way of getting information from your user. You can do it at sign up, it's fine. You can also do it afterwards. So a nice technique is to spread the points of friction, as those are things or times when you're asking for something from your user. Spread those out and pin them to the points of, let's say, like value, for want of a better word, something that the user is going to enjoy, something where they see they gain something. So a good example is info capture. It's already a step to like click login with Google, choose your Google account, do that, grand, fine. That's a big step of friction, but they're now in. So maybe you don't want to ask them straight away for more information. Maybe you want to do that at a later time, and you can. So you can get them in and then show them some value, get them to do an interaction in your app, get them excited. And then, I don't know, before they make their first transaction, whatever it is, you can ask them for their alias. Hey, how should we reference this transaction? What should we call you? Whatever. So that's one technique. And also one feature here is user information. This should be turned on if you're going to do that. So skip the optional fields during onboarding. There's a whole load of features down here for the design, but you can also do it in code, which we will do. Okay. You see, this is the one I did earlier in the demo. Put the email submit button inside the input fields. There's a whole load of stuff here. All right. I'm going to show you code. Hope you can all see that okay. You'll have to let me know, Austin, if you do not. This is all it takes to put dynamic inside your app. I'm going to show you what's happening here. The app should be wrapped in the context provider. I'm sure you're familiar. This is fairly obviously React with context. It makes sure your entire application can access the state of the user, the wallets, and everything else, and you can call the hooks. That's the most important thing that you do. Inside, it takes a settings object, and inside that you have your environment ID. This is meant to be public, not a problem. You'll find it. Let's maybe cancel this. In the SDK and API keys tab over here. Okay. Next, you have your wallet connectors. You can probably figure out what's going on here. I can actually remove these for you for a second, because that's going to come with regard to sponsoring transactions later. Here we have Ethereum wallet connectors and Cosmos wallet connectors. I'm going to just put back what we had. If you go to the dashboard, once you've configured your login methods, if you turned on wallets, the next thing you want to do is go to chains and networks, click EVM in this example, and toggle on whatever you want. Say testnet. We also have DevNet if it's needed. But yeah, here we're saying testnet. So that's on the EVM side. You're now EVM compatible. You can log in with an EVM wallet, such as Robbie, MetaMask, good to go. You can also turn on Cosmos chain right here. Now there is a default RPC URL for each one. You can add your own. And I recommend, in fact, you do if you want to be really sure of this stuff. So you have both of those up and running. This is the app right here. So since we're here, do you know what? Let's make it a bit more clean. Let's just get rid of this stuff for now. All right. So you see this login and sign up or sign up. That's not here. So one thing is missing. And by the way, I'll come back to this in a moment. All right. But just bear in mind, you have your wallet connectors for the chains and networks you've enabled. Here we have main. So I won't go into this in too much detail, but I just want to call out dynamic widget. This is the only component you need for the entire workflow or life cycle, however you want to call it, of authentication and user management. I really, really like how this works. So drop it in, you get this. Now we have an embedded widget or we have the widget. Right now it's opening by a button, but the embedded widget would just be there as a modal on the page. And here we can see the options which we've already enabled. So we have email, we have Google, we have MetaMask, we have all of the compatible wallets. Here we have the Cosmos wallets, and here we have, well, we could through snaps, I think, do both, but yeah, let's just imagine that these are going through EVM for now. All right. So one more thing before we log in. We're missing something. Someone logs in with email, someone logs in with social, then what? Give them a wallet. How easy can that be? Enable it here in embedded wallets. Make sure Ethereum is on, which it will be. This is up to you, whether you create a wallet on sign up or not. Many people have many different experiences, I know you do, about the way you want to design your user journey. So you might want to defer that till later, or you might want just to do it then. This is showing the confirmation UI for a transaction. Do you know what? Let's actually turn that one off right here. And let's turn on transaction simulation. Okay. All right. Now anyone signing up with email or social will get an embedded wallet on top. Let's give that a go. I'm going to have to just grab my phone and going to get my email up for you. Or not for you, especially not for you, not in front of you. But bear with me a second. Okay, and let's go with this. Let's hold on for code. Oh, sorry, just give me 1 second. Refreshing. Okay. All right. So we're in and we're connected. Here's the widget. If we open it, you can see my wallets. Now, there's a lot going on here. Let's break it down. Because of multi-wallet, I've been able to connect multiple wallets. This is my first time logging in. I'm doing this to show you how you can build things up. You can let your user connect, let's say, Cosmos specific wallets, EVM specific wallets, other wallets, and then do whatever they want with them, switch between them, grab the addresses, check the settings, that kind of thing. Here you also have your profile, and you can add your extra user information there if you asked for it earlier. So we're good to go here. If you then check in user management, you'll be able to see who logged in. This is me. See, it's Matt at dynamic.xyz. Sessions are right here. And you can see the different wallets that we have. You can see I've logged in with a social provider as well. So this is a very, very useful place to go to check that everything is working. I'll give you a few tips here. When you're testing and you're changing a bunch of things, 3 things can not necessarily go wrong. I mean, they can go wrong. Let's say they can go wrong because it's during development. The first is that you might see CORS errors. That's because if you turned on a social provider or anything like that, we require you to set the CORS origin in the dashboard. Now that's over here. In account security, here are the origins. You can set localhost, no problem, do that. But you must set them, otherwise it'll fail. Second thing is that sometimes if you're logging in, out, doing this and that, you can get into a kind of a sometimes weird state because we persist certain things like the store of the state in local storage if you're not using another kind of auth. So one thing you can do if you're ever having trouble is inspect and delete local storage, then refresh, and you'll be logged out with a fresh state and you can go back in again. Okay. The third thing we will come to in a couple of minutes. But right now, you already have authentication inside your app. Let's go back to the users tab here and notice that we actually have a couple of interesting looking wallets. This one is ZeroDev. Now, ZeroDev provides, among others who can provide the same, I'm a big fan of ZeroDev. They provide account abstraction. So until we have a good version of 7702, by the way, we can enable 7702 when it's enabled for any particular chain or network right here. You just toggle it on, you're good to go. Right now, we can use ZeroDev, and we also have guides for many other account abstraction providers if you need. So how do you set this up and why do you want to? Well, I have an embedded wallet. It's over here. This is my embedded wallet. We can select, say, testnet. I have some funds, but I just signed up with email. I just signed up with social. I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe you put some funds in there for me so I can actually do something, but I don't want to have to deal with gas or any of that stuff. So I turned on transaction preview a little while ago. We're going to turn it perhaps off in production if we want the end-to-end like Web 2 experience, but let's keep it on for now. You'll see why this is important. So what we're doing here is creating a smart contract wallet from ZeroDev. Now in ZeroDev, you can create a project per chain and network. Here we have one for, say, testnet. You'll have a bundler RPC, and you can see that on, say, testnet, the chain only supports self-funded paymasters. So you can go here and you can create a paymaster. You can fund it yourself. It's no problem. Do that. Back to here. After you plug in the project ID, you have a few choices to make. You can give everyone a smart contract wallet, EOAs, embedded wallets, whatever you want. Or you can do embedded wallets only, or you can do new users and all users. So I'm going to do all users, not just new ones from the time of this being enabled. And let's give embedded wallets only a smart contract wallet. Again, think of gas sponsorship here. That's the use case. This is particularly important. I've toggled this to show the smart wallet and the signer so you can have better visibility into what's going on. You'll see this is the embedded wallet and this is a smart contract wallet. So I just want you to know that there are obviously two wallets. You'll see that in the user tab as well. That's because this is toggled on. It also allows the users to select their actual wallet, their embedded wallet, to export funds from. But you could just show this, and then you could give them a better export flow yourself. You're done, but not quite. Because of the self-funded paymaster, we have a particular kind of wallet connector that helps you handle this. So if you don't have a self-funded paymaster, you can just do ZeroDev Smart Wallet Connectors without config, and you're done. That's it. That's all you need to do. But because we do, you can do ZeroDev Smart Wallet Connectors with config and pass a bundler and a paymaster. Now you're done. You have those from the ZeroDev dashboard. So what happens now? Let's take this, the smart wallet. You can see we have a bunch of stuff here. You can do deposits either from a link wallet, received by QR, and there's a bunch of other options too. MoonPay, Coinbase, Coin, Banksa, all the rest. So very easy to get your wallet funded. Let's say you want to make a transaction. I'm going to do it through here to show you the full workflow, doing it manually. You can simply trigger this yourself in code very easily. So I'm going to send. We have 587728. What I'll do is send to this wallet. Let's send 0.1 right here. And here's the preview transaction. So you don't need to have this. You can just have send. And again, You can do this through code. So it'll just trigger that transaction. It'll trigger the preview. User clicks accept and carry on. The really neat thing about this is you've already authenticated. We know who you are. There is, at this moment, no MFA on top. The transaction is seamless. So again, you can turn preview off and it'll just go. We're turning it on to actually see what's happening behind the scenes. Now watch this. ZeroDev just confirmed that there is going to be a sponsorship taking place in this transaction. So this is all you need to see. This is what you're sending. This is who you're interacting with. If we check on our logs, let's confirm. We'll see all of the calls happening here. We're signing the raw payload. And in one of these, we should see the results. Forgive me if I don't find it straight away. Here's the user op hash. And here's the transaction hash right here. Amazing. So if we then go to, say trace, here we're on testnet. Boom. We should be able to see once it loads the logs. And in here, again, once it loads, we can see ideally 2 logs. And here we can see what happens with the transaction. So there's before execution. And you will be able to see like the actual gas cost that was sponsored and everything else to do with it, the user op hash. You'll see the internal transactions. This is a bit more complicated if you want to dig into it. But you will see it was a success. Your balance will update here like this, according to what's available. And it takes a little while to propagate. But here in the gas usage, you will see the transactions that you sponsored right here. So indeed, your user can now trigger transactions without paying any gas. This is on testnet, obviously. Same principle applies on mainnet. So that's one point of friction out the door. I want to show you one last thing, which is super, super, super cool. The Say team is amazing, as you know, if you're watching this. And we are working to help alleviate the friction of ecosystem wallets. So I'm going to show you an Ethereum example. You can extrapolate this as you will. What we're going to do is sign in with Google here in a dynamic powered site, like this. Okay, we're signed in and it generated a wallet for us. We can sign, no problem there, just like this. Okay, what next? Well, you can see our wallet ends in 831. If we go to connect wallet here, and this is not powered by Dynamic, it's powered by RainbowKit, you can click global account and might have to do that again because of that. It'll pop up. You'll see what you're connecting to. You can say, let's go. Your wallet is connected, and there is your embedded wallet. So you can take the embedded wallet that you created on that one dynamic powered site, even if it was on, let's say, the Say dashboard, if it was supported. Oops. And you could then take that wallet across the ecosystem with you. So those are 2 of the main points of friction. Sponsoring gas, sponsoring user ops, just handling account abstraction, whether it be by 7702 or generally at the moment by things like ZeroDev and others, allowing users to quickly sign up and get through the points of friction, allowing them to use this all-in-one widget to do stuff. The last point is that you do not need to use this widget at all. If you want to do this headless, you absolutely can. There are hooks for absolutely everything. So if we go to docs, and by the way, if you're coding using Cursor or something else, we have pretty much everything you'd ever need. So there's LLMs full.txt. You can just feed this to your LLMs, or on any single page. You can copy it as Markdown, view it as Markdown, or open it in ChatGPT or Claude. Really, really, really enjoy this one. So you'll be good to go, and you'll also see some guidelines in, I think it's here, implementing dynamic using AI. So again, you can add the docs directly to cursor, or you can use the LLMs or LLMs full. Yeah, you should have absolutely no problem here. And if you see anything missing from these docs, just let me know, okay? Right. So if, let's say, you want to do things headlessly, you can go here. Email sign up is headless, SMS sign up is headless, social login is headless. I think actually, if we set this variable to false, you can see something has started earlier, very clearly started. This is completely headless login. So you can rebuild this stuff yourself. The point is to give you an all-in-one, give you options, and then give you levels of customization, whether it's rebuilding it all yourself in a way you want, but giving you all of the logic through hooks, then that's one. Or if you want to go in between and like use different parts of the widget, then we can also do that. You can do some things through the API reference directly. And then there are a lot of options here in the dashboard for you. You can see this is global wallet right here, which is amazing. Okay, I think we've reached almost half an hour. I've done an awful lot of talking simply because I'm the only one who can talk. Sorry for that. But I'll hand it over to you if you have any questions, and if not, we'll close up.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions for Matt, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'll highlight them and he can answer them. But I will say that was pretty eloquent presentation. So
Thank you. Hopefully, well, it's either an awful thing or a great thing if you don't have questions.
yeah.
Look, one thing I didn't say is maybe we can drop it in the chat or maybe afterwards. It's just my name, Matthew Foyle with 2 T's on Twitter. So, or dynamic_XYZ. Or you can, yeah, actually Twitter. It's okay, I still call it that. Sorry for, yeah. That name
I do too. I'll never.
Please forgive me.
I'll never call it X.
please DM on Twitter. So again, yeah, summary. So compatible on EVM side, on the Cosmos side, you can connect an EVM wallet, Cosmos wallet, switch between the two. You can do embedded wallets directly compatible with the EVM version of Say. You can sponsor gas in those transactions. You can take your wallet from one part of the Say ecosystem to another when it's supported. You can do various different things in terms of design, like the authentication flow, the onboarding flow. And I'm happy to walk through anything to do with that directly, like on your app, and help you get it in. No stress. Thanks.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much. Yeah, if the chat seems clear, I'll probably let everybody go for the day from this session. As always, we always post these recordings. So if you came in late or you just want to watch back over it, yeah, just keep an eye on. We'll be posting the recording later today and you can revisit it. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. See ya.
Have a great one. Bye.